Have you ever wondered why you always seem to look worse in photos than in real life? Maybe you see a photo of yourself and feel a wave of discomfort or even shame, as if the image captured something deeper than your physical appearance. According to Jung, nothing we see is merely random. Every image, every snapshot of ourselves is a mirror of the unconscious mind, revealing not just our features, but our deepest fears, shadows, and hidden truths. In this video, we'll uncover the spiritual meaning behind those awkward, unflattering photos, and how they might hold the key to understanding your own inner landscape. This journey will challenge you to see beyond the superficial and embrace the profound power of self-awareness. Are you ready to turn every photograph into a tool for transformation? Let's begin. Your hidden shadow. Jung often spoke of the shadow, the part of ourselves that we deny, repress, or simply don't want to see. It's the part of us that holds our fears, our unexpressed desires, and the traits we've disowned because they didn't fit the person we thought we needed to be. But what if those awkward photos you hate so much are actually a reflection of this hidden shadow? When you look at a picture of yourself and feel that something's off, you're not just reacting to the physical details, the angle, the lighting, or your posture. You're also reacting to what that image triggers inside of you. The camera has an uncanny way of capturing not only how you appear, but also what you're unconsciously projecting. In the language of Jung, this projection is a clue. It's a hint from your unconscious that there's something you've been ignoring, something you're afraid to own or show to the world. Maybe it's an insecurity you've carried since childhood. Maybe it's a fear of being seen, of being judged, of not measuring up. Or maybe it's a quiet self-doubt that only emerges when you're forced to look at yourself from the outside. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how certain people seem to radiate confidence in every photo, while others, even if they're physically beautiful, seem awkward, uncomfortable, or lost? That's not just about how photogenic they are. It's about how much of their shadow they've integrated. The more at peace you are with your hidden parts, the more natural and authentic you appear, even in the cold eye of a camera lens. Jung believed that the process of individuation, becoming your true self, requires you to face this shadow directly. It's not about erasing your flaws or forcing yourself to be perfect. It's about seeing those flaws, those awkward edges, and understanding that they're part of you. The spiritual meaning behind why you look bad in photos is an invitation to this very process. Each unflattering image is like a portal, showing you exactly what you've been avoiding. So next time you cringe at a photo, don't just blame the camera or your appearance. Ask yourself, what am I really seeing? Is there a sadness in my eyes that I've been ignoring? Is there a stiffness in my body that betrays my fear of vulnerability? Is there a part of me that's hiding even when I think I'm smiling? The shadow can't be defeated by pretending it doesn't exist. It can only be healed by bringing it into the light of consciousness. In fact, those photos you hate might be the most honest images of all. They reveal not who you want to be, but who you truly are at this moment. This isn't about judgment or shame. It's about compassion. Jung taught that what we judge in ourselves is usually what we most need to understand. When you see yourself in a photo and feel uncomfortable, it's a chance to explore that discomfort, to ask what it's trying to teach you. Are you ready to see your shadow not as an enemy, but as a guide? If you can embrace the awkward, the unpolished, and the raw, you'll discover a new kind of beauty, one that's rooted in authenticity and self-acceptance. And that's the first step to turning those unflattering photos into powerful tools for your spiritual growth. In this journey, let each image be a message from your unconscious. Let every photo become a meditation, a moment to pause and listen. The next time you look at yourself and see something you don't like, remember, that's your shadow calling you home. The energy of your eyes. In every photograph, your eyes are the silent messengers of your soul. Carl Jung believed that the eyes are not just windows to the soul, but also mirrors of the unconscious. They reflect what you truly feel, what you fear, and what you long for, even when you're trying to hide it. Have you ever noticed how your eyes can look so different in photos compared to how you see them in the mirror? Sometimes they seem dull, almost lifeless, as if they're carrying a heaviness you don't even feel. Other times they sparkle with a light that surprises you, hinting at a joy or a freedom you rarely allow yourself to show. This isn't just about how awake or tired you look. It's about the energy you're holding in that moment. In Jungian psychology, this energy comes from the tension between your conscious self and the parts of you that live in the shadow. When there's conflict, when you're trying to be someone you're not, or when you're afraid to be seen, your eyes reveal it without mercy. Photos capture this tension with brutal honesty. They freeze a moment of truth, even if you're not ready to face it. You might smile with your lips, but if your eyes are weary or sad, the photo will expose it. That's why so many people feel that they never look like themselves in pictures. The camera doesn't lie. It sees the split between who you are and who you think you should be. By the way, if you're curious to go even deeper and integrate your shadows and light, check out the SIM Method ebook. It's a concise guide that can help you unlock your inner power in just 5 minutes a day. The link is in the first pinned comment below. Jung taught that integration, the process of becoming whole, requires us to bring these hidden energies into balance. Your eyes are a clue to where that balance is missing. If they look blank or hollow, it may be because you're denying a part of yourself. Maybe you're trying to appear confident, but inside you're anxious or insecure. Or maybe you're so focused on fitting in that you've lost touch with what makes your spirit come alive. What's fascinating is that the energy of your eyes can change dramatically when you start to accept yourself more fully. When you let go of the mask, even a little, your eyes come alive. They shine with authenticity, even if your face isn't perfectly posed or your hair isn't just right. That's why some of the most beautiful photographs are the ones that don't seem perfect at all. They're real. So next time you see a photo where your eyes look empty or sad, pause. Instead of feeling shame or frustration, ask yourself, what am I really feeling here? What part of me am I trying to hide? What truth is waiting to be seen? Carl Jung believed that our unconscious is always speaking to us, often in ways we don't expect. In the gaze of your own eyes, you might find the doorway to a deeper understanding of yourself. It's not about changing how you look in photos. It's about changing how you see yourself. Your eyes can be your greatest teacher if you let them. Let them show you not just the surface, but the depth. Let them reveal the wounds you're ready to heal, the joys you're ready to claim, and the light that's been waiting all along to be seen. This is the power of the energy in your eyes. It's not a trick of the light or a flaw in the camera. It's the truth of who you are, waiting to be embraced. And when you start to see that truth, not only will you look better in photos, you'll feel more alive in every moment. Your smile's secret. A smile is often seen as a simple gesture, a way to express happiness or friendliness. But in the language of Carl Jung, a smile can also be a mask or a window into your soul. The way you smile in photos isn't just about how your lips curve. It's about what that smile reveals or conceals in the depths of your unconscious. Have you ever looked at a photo of yourself smiling and felt that it didn't look real? Or maybe it looked forced, even if you were genuinely trying to be happy. That's because a smile is never just a physical expression. It's a signal of your inner landscape, the harmony or dissonance between what you're feeling and what you're showing. Jung believed that the parts of ourselves we don't accept, our fears, insecurities, and secret wishes, often show up in the smallest details of our expressions. A smile that doesn't reach the eyes, a tightness in the cheeks, a stiffness in the jaw. These are not just quirks of facial muscles. They're signs that something deeper is at play. When you see a photo where your smile looks off, it's not just a bad angle or a bad moment. It's a clue from your unconscious. It might be telling you that you're trying too hard to appear happy even when you're not. Or that you're worried about how others see you, so you're putting on a performance rather than showing what's real. But here's the paradox. The most beautiful smiles aren't the perfect ones. They're the honest ones. A smile that's a little crooked, a little uncertain, can be far more powerful than one that's perfectly posed. Because it's real. And in the language of Jung, what's real is what heals. So how do you find your real smile? It starts by listening to the discomfort you feel when you see those bad photos. Instead of dismissing them or feeling embarrassed, ask yourself, what was I really feeling in that moment? Was I worried about how I looked? Was I trying to hide my nervousness? Was I pretending to be okay when I wasn't? Carl Jung taught that healing happens when we stop trying to be what we think we should be and start accepting what we actually are. Your smile in photos can be a map to that healing. It can show you where you're still holding back, where you're still afraid to be vulnerable. When you embrace this, something shifts. Your smile becomes softer, more natural. It starts to reflect not just what you're feeling in the moment, but also the peace that comes from being at home in your own skin. And that's the kind of smile that no camera can fake. So let your smile be a conversation with your soul. Let it be a doorway to the parts of you that are still learning to be seen. In those photos where your smile feels forced, see the invitation, not to hide or judge yourself, but to open up a little more each time. Because in the end, the spiritual meaning of why you look bad in photos isn't about the photos at all. It's about the journey of becoming real. And every smile, no matter how awkward, is a step along that path. Let it be your teacher, your guide, and your reminder that true beauty starts from within, the posture of the soul. When you see yourself in photos, your posture is often the first thing that stands out. Maybe you notice that your shoulders are slumped, your back is stiff, or your head tilts in a way that makes you look awkward. But what if your posture in photos isn't just about physical alignment? What if it's a message from your soul? Carl Jung believed that the body is an expression of the unconscious. It carries the weight of your emotions, your history, and your hidden conflicts. When you're uncomfortable with yourself, your body shows it. When you're in harmony with who you are, your body radiates that confidence, even if you don't realize it. In photos, your posture becomes a snapshot of this inner dynamic. A slumped back can reveal a sense of defeat or unworthiness that you're carrying, even if you're smiling on the surface. A rigid spine can show that you're trying too hard to hold everything together, to be strong and in control. And a head that's slightly bowed might hint at a shyness or a fear of being seen. What's fascinating is that most people don't even notice these small details in daily life. But the camera captures them perfectly. It freezes your body language in a way that can be confronting, because it shows you what you're really feeling, not what you're trying to project. Jung would say that these moments are opportunities. They're not reasons to feel ashamed or frustrated. They're invitations to explore the deeper parts of yourself. What's behind that slumped posture? Is it a lifetime of feeling not good enough? Is it a fear of being judged or rejected? Or is it simply a habit you've formed to protect yourself from a world that feels overwhelming? When you start to see your posture in photos as a reflection of your inner world, something powerful happens. You stop trying to fix it from the outside by forcing yourself to stand straighter or pose better, and you start to heal it from the inside. You begin to ask, what do I need to feel safe, to feel seen, to feel at home in my own body? Carl Jung taught that real change comes from integration, bringing together all the parts of yourself that you've been ignoring or rejecting. When you soften into that process, your posture changes naturally. You stand taller, not because you're trying to be perfect, but because you're more at peace with who you are. And that's what the camera captures too. A posture that's rooted in authenticity, not in performance. A body that's aligned not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. So the next time you cringe at a photo because of how you're standing or sitting, pause. Take a breath. And instead of judging yourself, listen to what your body is telling you. Let that photo be a doorway to deeper self-awareness and to a gentler, more compassionate relationship with yourself. Because in the end, how you hold yourself in photos is how you hold yourself in life. And when you start to honor the posture of your soul, you'll find that every image, no matter how imperfect, becomes a celebration of your journey toward wholeness, the echo of your aura. Have you ever sensed that some photos seem to carry a different kind of energy, a warmth, a glow, or even a strange emptiness? This isn't about lighting or camera quality. According to Carl Jung, what we see in these images goes beyond the physical. It's the echo of your aura, the invisible field of energy that surrounds you and reveals your inner state. Your aura, in Jungian terms, can be seen as a manifestation of the subtle forces that shape your presence. It's not something mystical in the sense of fantasy. It's deeply psychological. Your thoughts, emotions, and unconscious beliefs shape this invisible field. When you're at peace, your aura expands and radiates a calm that even a simple photograph can capture. When you're filled with fear or self-doubt, that field contracts, and your presence feels small or muted. The camera, though it only captures the physical, seems to catch a hint of this energy. That's why you can look at two photos of yourself taken minutes apart and feel a huge difference. One seems vibrant and alive, the other dull and lifeless. It's the echo of your aura, reflecting what you're carrying inside. Jung taught that everything in the psyche leaves an imprint. Even if you're not consciously aware of your inner state, your aura reflects it like a subtle glow. In photos, this shows up in ways that are hard to describe, but easy to feel. Maybe it's in the warmth of your expression, the openness of your gaze, or the way your body seems to blend naturally with the space around you. When you see a photo that feels flat or empty, it's not just a bad shot. It might be showing you where your energy is blocked or where you're holding back. Perhaps you're trying to be someone you're not. Or maybe you're carrying the weight of old wounds, doubts and fears that have never been given the space to heal. But there's power in this realization. Because once you see that your aura is shaping how you appear in photos, you can start to work with it. Instead of focusing on posing perfectly, you can focus on clearing the inner blocks that dim your light. You can ask yourself, what part of me feels unseen or unworthy? What part of me is afraid to take up space? Carl Jung believed that healing the soul is an act of remembering who you really are beneath all the masks and stories. When you do that, your aura changes. It grows fuller, more vibrant, and that change ripples out into everything, even the photos you take. So the next time you see an image of yourself that feels lifeless or flat, don't just dismiss it as unflattering. See it as a message. Let it remind you to reconnect with your own energy, to breathe, to release, to trust in the light that's always been there. Because when your aura is aligned with your true self, no camera can hide it. The echo of your aura is the soul's quiet song, and it's waiting to be heard, not just in photos, but in every moment of your life. The language of your hands. The way you hold your hands in photos might seem like a minor detail, a small gesture, a momentary choice. But to Carl Jung, even the subtlest body language carries the voice of the unconscious. Your hands, in particular, are deeply symbolic. They are how you interact with the world, how you reach out, how you protect yourself, how you express what words can't always say. In photos, the language of your hands can reveal more than you might realize. Are they clenched tight, as if you're holding onto something you can't let go of? Are they fidgeting nervously, betraying an inner restlessness or discomfort? Or maybe they're open and relaxed, showing a readiness to engage with life and others. This isn't just about posture or habit. Jung believed that our gestures often reflect the parts of ourselves we're not fully conscious of. A hand that's curled inward can mirror a part of you that's afraid to open up. A hand that reaches out in a photo, even tentatively, can be a sign of a deeper longing to connect, to be seen, to be understood. When you look at a photo of yourself, pay attention to your hands. Notice where they are and how they're positioned. This small detail can reveal so much about your emotional state in that moment and about patterns you might be carrying in your daily life. Carl Jung taught that the journey of individuation is about bringing these unconscious patterns into the light. Your hands are one of the most direct ways to do this because they're always active, always in motion. They're the part of you that creates, that nurtures, that defends. When you see them in a photo, you're seeing a snapshot of how you move through the world. But this isn't about judgment or criticism. It's about curiosity and compassion. If you notice that your hands look tense or awkward in photos, don't just try to fix the way they look. Instead, ask yourself, what am I holding on to right now? What am I afraid to let go of? This simple act of inquiry can shift everything. It can open a door to a deeper understanding of what you're carrying in your heart and what you're ready to release. Because when your hands are at ease, your whole being relaxes. You begin to show up more authentically, not just in photos, but in every moment. The language of your hands becomes a dance, a quiet conversation between your soul and the world. And in that dance, even the smallest gesture becomes a powerful act of self-acceptance, the weight of old memories. Sometimes, when you look at a photo of yourself and feel a strange heaviness, it's not just about how you look in that moment. It's about the weight of the past, the memories and experiences that shape your presence in ways you might not even realize. Carl Jung taught that the unconscious is a storehouse of all our experiences, both the joys and the wounds. These memories don't just live in our minds. They live in our bodies, our expressions, our energy. In photos, this can show up as a heaviness in your eyes, a tightness in your shoulders, or a subtle sadness in your smile. You might not even be aware of it. Maybe you're smiling and trying to look happy, but the camera catches something deeper, a part of you that's still carrying an old hurt or a loss that hasn't been fully processed. This isn't a flaw or a failing. It's a reminder of how deeply human you are. We all have these layers of memory and emotion, and they don't just disappear because we want them to. Jung believed that the only way to truly heal is to bring these memories into the light, to honor them, to understand them, and to let them find their rightful place in your story. When you see a photo where you look bad or different from how you think you should, ask yourself, what old story am I still carrying? What part of me is still living in the past? This gentle inquiry isn't about blaming yourself. It's about freeing yourself. Because when you start to see how the weight of old memories shapes how you show up in the world, you can begin to release what no longer serves you. And as you do, your presence changes. Your photos start to reflect a lighter, more authentic version of you. Not because you're posing differently, but because you're no longer carrying the same burdens. So let those images be your guides. Let them show you not just how you look, but who you're becoming as you heal and grow. Your true reflection. At the heart of all these insights lies one simple truth. Every photo of you is a mirror, but not in the way you might think. It doesn't just show your physical appearance. It reflects the state of your soul, the parts of you that are open, the parts that are hiding, the parts that are still waiting to be claimed. Carl Jung taught that true healing begins with seeing yourself clearly, not just the image in the mirror, but the person beneath it. When you look at a photo and feel discomfort, it's an opportunity to ask, what am I really seeing here? What does this image reveal about who I am and who I'm becoming? This process isn't always easy. It can bring up old fears, old judgments, and old wounds. But it's also the doorway to a deeper kind of beauty, one that comes from authenticity, not from perfection. Your true reflection isn't about the perfect pose or the flawless smile. It's about the courage to be real, to let the camera see you, and to let yourself see you too. When you embrace this, you start to show up differently, not just in photos, but in life. You begin to trust that you don't have to hide or perform. You begin to understand that even your most awkward or unflattering photos carry a gift. They show you the way back to yourself. So the next time you look at a photo and feel that familiar cringe, take a breath. Remember, it's not just an image, it's a moment of truth, a chance to see who you really are, and to honor that with compassion and love. Because in the end, the real journey isn't about looking better in photos. It's about seeing yourself and learning to love the whole picture. You've just seen how every photo, even the most uncomfortable one, is more than a captured image. It's a mirror of your inner world, the fears you carry, the stories you tell yourself, and the truths you're finally ready to see. And here, no one will tell you to just fix the surface or hide what doesn't look perfect. Because on this channel, we believe that real beauty is born from self-acceptance, from the raw, honest moments that you can't pose for. So let every photo that makes you cringe be a reminder. You are not just a face on a screen. You are a living, breathing soul. And every uncomfortable image is a doorway to growth, a crack in the mask where your true self can finally shine through. This is not about learning to smile better or stand taller. It's about learning to see yourself with clarity and compassion, and to understand that the only validation that truly matters comes from within. Here, we stand for that kind of seeing, the kind that goes beyond the lens, beyond the performance. Because until you're willing to look at yourself as you truly are, you'll never discover the power that's been waiting in the shadows all along. What will you do with that truth? That's your choice. But remember this, the next time you see yourself in a photo, you're not looking at a failure. You're looking at a chance to come home to yourself.